This is my review of the Beach Boys album Surf's Up. It was released in 1971, produced by the Beach Boys. So this I won the 2 for CD with Sunflower, and this one I've always liked less of the two of them. In fact, it's kind of one of my least favorite Beach Boys albums from the 70s. It at the time, or I think it's kind of weird too that I don't really like it because I think a lot of other people kind of do. At the time, I guess it charted. I think it I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I just got the Wikipedia page up here because I was checking what date it was released. I can't find it. But I guess it charted kind of high for a Beach Boys album. I think it was at the time. I think it was the highest charting since sometime in the '60s. I don't remember when. But yeah, they had hired a new manager around the time of this album named Jack Riley. I think he was like a radio DJ or something that they had met, and he had like a plan to, I think, kind of make the band popular again and try to get their sales going again. It seems to have at least worked for this album. But yeah, I think they tried to make their lyrics and stuff kind of more topical for this album, and I think that kind of sometimes doesn't always work. But yeah, this album for me is just, I think, kind of weird, and I think it could have been stronger, but I'll kind of get to that later. So the first song, Don't Go Near the Water, is a Mike and Al song. I used to not like it when I first heard the album. It's kind of, I think, kind of a weird song, not very Beach Boys sounding, but it's definitely grown on me. Now I like it. The second song, Long Promise Road, is sung by Carl and Jack Riley, the manager. And this one I like a lot. Carl, I guess around this time, was appointed kind of the like official leader of the band, and since Brian kind of checked out, but Carl, I think this is like the first album that he kind of writes songs on, which it's like kind of Dennis had his big songwriting moments on the album before. This is kind of like Carl's big album, I guess. And it's a good song. The third song, Take a Load Off Your Feet, sung by Brian and Al, and there was some other co-writer, didn't write down the name, but this is another one that I kind of used to really hate. I still think the lyrics are a little silly, but I kind of like the production of the song, and I think it's kind of catchy in the way it sounds and stuff. So this one that's grown on me, and I like it now. The fourth song, Disney Girls, is a Bruce Johnson song. It's last song by him for a while. He quits the band after this album and doesn't come back until I think '79 on LA album, but we'll get to that. This song, it's kind of like in the style of the other, like the Bruce Johnson style of the two songs that he had on Sunflower, but this one I think most people like a little bit better than those ones. I like this song a lot. It used to, for a long time, it was kind of my favorite song on the album. It's one of those songs where like I kind of see people not getting into it because it's kind of just slower. But I like it a lot. I think it's a really good song. And kind of a highlight of Bruce with the band. They played this when I saw them live in 2012 for that reunion, and it was cool to see it and hear it live. I was glad they played it. The fifth song, Student Demonstration Time, is horrible. This is like one of the worst songs I think on a Beach Boys album. It's a cover where Mike Love rewrote the lyrics, and I'm not really that familiar with the song that it's a cover of, but like Mike Love's lyrics are terrible. They kind of like they don't work. It seems to me like they don't sound good. They don't like fit that well. it sounds like he's trying to put in like too many words in places, and he just has words that don't fit because of what he's trying to, the message he's trying to get across or whatever. And it's just, it's like the lyrics are bad, the song sounds terrible, there's this weird sound, I don't even know what it is that keeps playing that just sounds stupid. It's horrible. I turned it down when I was like listening to it for doing this review. You know, usually I listen through the whole album, and like I've never skipped a song yet or anything. I was tempted to skip this song. I just like turned it down a little bit, but it's bad. I pretty much never listen to it. Yeah, it's horrible. But luckily, the sixth song, "Feel Flows," another Carl song, written with Jack Riley, the manager, and it's probably my favorite song that I know of that Carl wrote. I haven't checked out Carl's solo career yet. I think it's only like 2 albums, but haven't got around to that yet. Still haven't actually got around to most of Brian's, but I haven't heard like good things. I don't know. Maybe I'll like him because I end up liking a bunch of stuff that people don't like. So who knows? But for now, this is my favorite Carl Wilson song. Just a really cool song. It's got this weird like, I don't know, like flute solo or something in the middle. Kind of a trippy song, but it's cool. The 7th song, "Looking at Tomorrow," Welfare song, is a song by Al. It's kind of this slow, folky song with this weird effect on Al's voice that I'm not sure if I like that or not, like the way it sounds. And I'm not really sure if I like the song or not. I don't think it's horrible or anything, but it just seems kind of boring. It doesn't really like go anywhere, and I don't know if I like that effect on Al's voice. So the 8th song, "A Day in the Life of," or "A Day in the Life of a Tree," another song, another Brian and Jack Riley song. Sorry, I was thinking of the Carl ones. And this is a really weird song. It's another one that I really couldn't stand for a long time. Jack Riley, the manager, actually sings lead on it, and I'm not really even sure what I think about his voice still. I guess it's not as good as anybody's in the band, but like I guess, I don't know, Brian I think kind of like tricked him into doing it or something. He had him like, didn't tell him that the vocal he was doing was going to be on the album or whatever. When he did it, he was just like, I don't know, I can't remember the story I read, but apparently he was like kind of tricked into doing it, and I think Brian thought that his voice sounded the most like a tree or something, which I don't know. I'm not one to argue with Brian, so maybe he did sound the most like a tree. I kind of feel like the song would have benefited from having like Dennis sing it, maybe. I just feel like it would have worked really well with his voice, and he was a better singer than Jack Riley. Maybe that would have made me make me like the song a little bit better, which, I mean, I do like the song now. I used to not like it because it's really weird, and now I do like it. I think there's something about it that it's like one of those like indescribable things where it just kind of like draws me into it. But it's still just a weird song that I can't really like. I don't know. I don't really know. Like, I know I like it, but I don't really know why. It's just a really weird song. And then the 9th song, "Till I Die." It's a Brian song that I think is just it's probably my favorite song on the album. It's just a really kind of sad, beautiful song, just great. And then finally, the 10th and final track is "Surf's Up," the title track. It's a song from Smile, so by Brian and Van Dyke Parks. And "Surf's Up," I like the version of this that's on Smile Sessions better, I think, than this version. Well, not I think. I definitely like it better. This version, I don't really know the story behind it that well, but that version has like, I'm pretty sure Brian singing on like the opening couple verses, and this one has Carl singing those parts instead. So I don't know if like maybe they couldn't find the tapes of that Brian had sung originally at the time or something, and they had to redo this. I don't know, but I think Brian didn't want this song on the album really, but I think that they had kind of promised the record company that there would be some songs from Smile coming out, and this one I think was one of the big kind of legendary tracks, so the record company really wanted it. But I don't think Brian wanted it on the album, and it does seem kind of out of place, I guess, with the rest of the album a little bit, and I just think it fits better on the Smile Sessions, and I like that version better. But it's a great song. I don't want to sound like it's bad that it ends this album or anything, because no, it's a great song, amazing song. This just isn't my favorite version of it. But anyway, the thing about this album, I guess, is that it's got some really strong songs on it, and then it's just got some it's got one really horrible one, and it's got a couple weak ones. And they had some stronger material around. I just got this not long ago. It's Feel Flows. I think there's more versions of it. Mine just has like 2 discs. It's kind of I don't know. I just got the first version I clicked on Amazon. But it's got a bunch of the bonus tracks, or a bunch of tracks that are from the sessions from Sunflower and from Surf's Up. And there were some really great Dennis songs that didn't make this album. I think him and Carl argued about, I think he wanted one of them to close the album instead of Surf's Up or something like that, and they wanted Surf's Up to close, and then I guess there was just other stuff at the time, but Dennis had some songs that were really great, Wouldn't It Be Nice to Live Again, and 4th of July that are on here, that are 2 great tracks, definitely really worth checking out. And if they've been put on this album, it probably would be one of my favorite Beach Boys albums. If they had replaced Student Demonstration Time with one of those songs, and maybe replaced a Welfare song with one of these too. I don't know, if you switched out a couple songs for these 2 Dennis songs, or maybe just even added these Dennis songs, it would be so much better of an album, so much stronger of an album. But as it is, I'd say Surf's Up 4 out of 5 for me. I almost went lower, but the strength of the good material, I think, outweighs the kind of mediocre stuff. But that Student Demonstration Time is just horrible. You should just skip that one. Definitely just such a horrible song. Why they ever put that on an album? Just this is why people hate you, Mike Love. This is why. So yeah, Surf's Up 4 out of 5. Probably my least favorite of their 70s albums, but still a really good album. Just